Hallo ihr Lieben, wir machen ein bisschen Grammatik. Heute geht es weiter mit time expressions. So first of all, when we talk about time, you guys already learned how to tell time. So we had two different ways of telling time itself. So saying it is 3:45. We also have a bunch of phrases that give us time, like in the morning, am Morgen, or using it as an adjective, morgens, in the mornings, when it's a repetition or something that happens over and over again. This goes deeper into the same concept, so you have other things related to time that this talks about. So I'm going to give you additional examples as I go through. This is straight from the book, so make sure you actually read what the book also tells you. I'm not going to repeat everything that you see on the actual slide, so feel free to pause at any time if you want to take some more time reading. So first of all, there are two concepts related to time that we're going to talk about here. One is Zeit, which is a span of time, and one is Mal, which directly translated means times. So that is talking about specific occurrences or repetitions, and they give you an example of each. So for the first example, it's talking about a span of time in which something happened. Sorry about the pop-ups, trying to stop that. Ich habe noch 50 Minuten Zeit vor meinem Flug. So I still have 50 minutes before my flight. That is your span of time, and you're literally using time at the end of it to indicate that. In English, you don't say time right there, right? The second one is, ich war nur einmal in Hamburg. So that einmal translates to once. Notice it is a compound and it's lowercase. And here, of course, it's uppercase because it's a noun. So I'm going to tell you more about that on the next slide. Okay, so here are a bunch of versions of mal. Make sure you write them down. I'm just going to pronounce them for you. We've got diesmal, das erste Mal, einmal, manchmal, niemals, zum ersten, zum letzten Mal. Okay, so again, for these two, where you see time at the end, we use the word mal because it is talking about repetitions. Or occurrences, thus mal, not Zeit, right? And it's a noun. With all of these other compounds, we have some words that you already know that can help you translate them more easily. So diesmal, if you think dieses is this, right? Dieses is this, and then mal is time. So this time, diesmal, this time. We also know nie by itself means never. So niemals here is specific to occurrences or repetitions. So not a single time have I done something in that form of never. Not in the sense of I'm never going to eat a cheeseburger. Okay, next slide. Okay, when we talk about time, we use different cases, and you're going to see another slide where it talks about when we use dative case. But we're going to use accusative case, so our direct object case, to talk about a particular span of time or a point of time, or when using the verb dauern, right? So they give you a bunch of examples. Notice you have those endings on there. So einen Monat, so it lasted a month. Einen Monat has that en ending because it's masculine accusative. Same with this one. Letzten, last, letzt, and then en ending. Montag, because it's accusative case. Now, these two examples, the nächsten has an ending, but this one is feminine, so there's no change from nominative, so it just looks the same, die ganze Nacht. But all of those spans of times are particular points in time. All right, we learned Zeit already. Zeit was one of our dative prepositions, right? So we used it like seit gestern, since yesterday. Seit gestern denke ich an Mathematik. Since yesterday, I've thought about math. So seit is a dative preposition, so just stick to the same thing. Continue using seit with the dative forms. So seit einem Monat wohnt Patrick in Berlin. That em ending, masculine, is your dative ending. Okay, so for a month he's lived there. Okay, then this next word, schon, notice it's not schön with umlauts, it's schon, which translates to already when you directly translate it. Schon is always used with the accusative. So, studiert schon 2 Jahre in Deutschland. Okay, sometimes we combine those two in phrases. So we say things like, studiert schon seit 2 Jahren in Deutschland. For now, just stick to them separately and it's easier, but in colloquial language, you'll see them combined. All right, Two-way prepositions. We have lots of two-way prepositions that answer the question wann or when, so they're used with time phrases. We already did some of this when we did them, but what you have to remember is two-way prepositions, of course, could be accusative or dative. When they're used with time, they're always dative. So, vor einem Jahr studierte ich im Ausland. Mein Geburtstag ist am, right, 18. Februar. We did these phrases. Just make sure you note down dative case when you use these three with when. So an was, of course, in this case, on a specific date or on a specific day. In was typically used when you're talking about in a year or in a month or in a week, right? And then for is, of course, ago or before. So as far as translations go, those are the meanings you need. All right, last little slide for this. So we had our erster, zweiter, dritter, so we learned those ordinal numbers, but we also have time expressions that say, like first I'm going to do something, not as far as like counting things, but where you're going to start. So we differentiate in that way. So when you're using it as a time, rather than ordering things, you're going to say zuerst, not just erst. So zuerst, dann, danach, zuletzt, or schließlich. So write those down. You have some examples. Again, these are little time adverbs, and they're going to kick things out of place. So, verb second place. And that's it. Write all those words down. Go back if you have to. You will need to know them later, and there is going to be a Quizlet for you.